wish I could have introduced him, but since people are watching at home, he's on my left.
Today we actually have a pretty good show too, don't we?
We have a show. We have a guest too.
Yes, indeed, we
You
do.
introduce our guest and make him introduce himself.
Make him introduce himself. I'm not sure who he is anyway.
What role are you playing today, Bruce? Who are
I'm the
you?
Shadow.
Our guest is the Shadow.
He's the
You
sheriff.
may know him on the street. There are other names he will disclose throughout the day if he feels comfortable. He's not sure how this rolls. But happy to be here today, Jacob. I'm glad we're doing this. We have two topics in mind. I think we have a third. Didn't you bring up something else too?
Oh,
Intellectual
whichever.
property.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Three things
My
that are
favorite.
important to
That's a good
life and
one.
society. Intellectual property, which is third. First on our agenda, though, I want to talk about voting, and I want to explain something about voting, and then I want the reaction of you two.
Okay.
And I want you to help me justify how I ended up. I'm arguing pro and con out loud here.
Okay.
The
I like
idea
it.
in America is that everybody has the right to vote, or should have the right to vote, almost by default. I mean, you have to be 18 and somehow coherent. I mean, able to.
Oh, you do? You have to like. Be,
I don't know.
You don't have to get
actually, you
certified
don't,
sane. That's for
no,
sure.
you don't at all. Because I know some
didn't.
people with profound disabilities who are eligible. So all you have to do is be 18, theoretically, right? And that's a good thing because that's democracy, and everybody gets to have an equal voice and influence in how society rolls. And then we get to the real truth is that only people who are able to get themselves registered by any means, either transportation or overcoming obstacles that are in their way by nature or in just outright voter suppression acts, we end up with a certain amount of number of people who are eligible to vote, and then those people, because they have taken the time, this is where it goes off track. They have learned the details and the facts, and they're able to cast a vote to determine how their view of society should play out. So we encourage that. We have voter drives. Hey, vote, go here. I myself have been in high schools where I handed out voter registration
Rock
cards
the
to
vote.
kids. So, huh?
MTV had Rock the Vote.
There you
Well,
go.
AOC
Vote
sponsored
or
a
die.
Rock the Vote thing where we paid some big band in a bus of their own and demanded beer to be delivered at 2 a.m. Anyway, we rock the vote. We believe that, and that's the idea that upon which hold democracy and yada, yada, yada. I, on the other hand, would like to presuppose, give me a fancy word, Jacob. I would like to
Prefigure. Pretend.
I would like to offer up to you that we have demonstrated the intellectual capacity of a grape. Therefore, the collective we should not be allowed to determine how we live. We are not smart enough to have the capacity to control our own fate. We have to turn it over to more powerful people, or we have to qualify who gets to vote. It's provably simple to lead the tribe. And that's why we have to be careful.
Well, it's even better if you have two tribes, it seems.
Well, we seem to.
So that you can be against one of the tribes. I think that's a big problem with where we are.
And that works in propellant. And that works in lighting a fire underneath the butts of individuals who have the right to vote to go out and vote.
But the problem is they don't vote smart. That's the deal. Getting people to vote, driving them to the polls, cheering them on, begging them to vote. I've done that too. But at the same time, I'm sending people in there that are they're voting against their own best interest and certainly against mine. But then I'll allow it to happen because I believe they should have a voice, even though I know when they're going in there to stick a fork in me, I do the noble thing and let them participate in voting. But now I'm arguing that maybe that's not the smart thing to do. Maybe we ought to. Boy, I sound like I'm joining the Trump team here. Maybe we ought to qualify who gets to vote. That's what I'm
Poll
saying.
tax.
You at one point said people over 70 shouldn't be allowed to vote.
A maximum voting age? Yeah. I think we should have no vote. I think you should be able to vote as soon as you demonstrate some sort of awareness of the world, like a
even
group
before
of
you're
cells.
18?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so in facto, Greta, who's not
Greta
voting
Thunberg?
age.
15,
not
16.
of voting age, but making a huge impact on people's lives by making them more aware of the situation that we're currently in with our environment.
Okay, she gets to vote in my book. On the other hand,
Because she's smart and she didn't just come.
Let's just let Ed decide who gets to vote. I would be okay with that.
that takes too much of my time. I don't want to be bothered. That's another of the problems. The whole voting thing. To bring you up to speed, Bruce, yesterday, Jacob and I confronted a young man in the hall, and Jacob was well on the way to try to get this guy to register to vote. Hopefully he would participate based on what we know about him to help our side do well. But nevertheless, we tried to get him to understand his vote was important. And he argued, and from his point of view, it was very difficult to refute. He said, baloney, BS, my vote doesn't count. It isn't worth anything. I would not vote. There's no chance my voice will be heard. It's immaterial. I'm not going to take the time. It's a, I think he called it, he didn't say it out loud, but it's a white man scam. I'll never get anywhere by voting.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to refute that other than if you don't, and the line I use, if you don't make noise, they're going to continue to not know you're there and poop in that spot. You can at least make them quit pooping on you. I don't think I said poop.
Well,
you have to make noise, and the collective noise gets louder.
There's two sides to my vote doesn't count. There's one side that because of the interference that we've had from Russia and maybe other countries.
Oh, come on, bull. What interference? In all seriousness, like what did they do besides spend money that they shouldn't have been allowed to spend and influence people on social media? That was the thing they did. They got on it and
they did a masterful job. But
memed.
there's also
they
proof.
memed. They figured out how to meme.
They figured out how to propagandize better than our parties did.
Yes.
But they also manipulated, and we don't know how much. They were in voting machines.
But we don't
know that they
We've
did
been doing it. Like the whole idea
that we did this doesn't change the fact that do we let people vote
conversation.
or not?
It completely changes. Well, you're right. Yeah, I mean, it changes the subject, so we don't want to do that.
Well, yeah, maybe we do.
I think we do want people to vote, and I think what we need to do is figure out how to talk to the people who are actually the backbone of the country, the people who are making no money. And I think that, that would change things. I mean, that's
the correct answer. The same as the correct answer as to what do we do about cancer or cure it.
Yeah.
You can't.
But going back to what Ed said earlier about smart voting, that's the key.
Yeah, but
so
what does that mean when there's two choices?
Well, when there's two choices.
Well, then there's that too. The whole idea that we
then you individually become smart about both choices.
Well, no, but you won't.
Doesn't happen.
So in the vacuum where you don't become
that's
smart.
That's why I say
not?
some people shouldn't vote. It's so easy to make people think they're informed and they're not.
Yes, and to make people afraid of things they shouldn't be.
The people has proven to be. We're just deplorables. We're not capable of making informed.
We're manipulables.
Decisions.
We're easily
we're
led.
Not evil. We're not ignorant. But we're naive enough to take what's fed to us. It's like I refer to walking into a restaurant, open your mouth, and say, "Shove anything you want in there, and I'll eat it." Well, we're doing that with our brains, and I'm guilty of that too. But they shouldn't be. Well,
I don't know. I'm not guilty of that.
I have a problem with who gets to vote in my world. How's that?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that it has been shown the more people that vote, the better for the Democratic Party. And so that is one of the Republicans' tools, is to limit voting. And they use that tool. But Democrats and Republicans combined have gerrymandered. It might have been one or the other's idea, but they have both used that tool to keep each other in power.
That's another
well,
part
let me
of
ask
my
you this.
conundrum.
Let me ask you this, Jacob. 8 years prior to where we are right now, the American people voted in an individual, in my personal estimation, was the right choice.
Well, you mean that he won re-election, Obama? You mean 12 years ago?
8 years, yeah.
That's
close
math.
to.
You're talking about 12 years ago.
Yeah, but I mean, for 2 terms, we had an individual in the White House
who expanded our foreign wars, who killed more brown people than ever before, who used drones to assassinate people extrajudicially around the world, who continued to operate black sites where we torture. Let's talk about what he did domestically. That's the thing. Our problems
I don't
are
want to
not
get into
focused
politics,
on one.
But I want.
Then what did he do? If not, what else did he do? He wrote a book.
Back to the
He
subject
did
at
a
hand.
lot. He provided universal health care.
No, he did not provide universal health care. He had the opportunity to champion universal health care. Instead, what he did was give you another bill that you had to pay by law to, this time, not the government, but a private company. He didn't give us universal health care. He institutionalized private health care. And one of the few good things that has happened, in my view, under the Trump administration is you don't have to pay that by law anymore. That one of the chinks in the Obamacare armor was removed, making actual single-payer public health care more viable. What we need is for somebody to champion, and guess what? We have somebody. We have a few people, but one I think is the best. Bernie, baby. But then you see Hillary with her Bernie bro comment this week. Did y'all see that?
I wonder what that's about, man.
I'll tell you what it's about. It is about removing any ownership that women and people of color have in the Bernie revolution, as though only white men are for this guy. It is disingenuous. Hillary used the slur Bernie bros again this week when she said nobody likes Bernie. I wonder who she meant by that. She means her pals don't like Bernie. Guess what that means? That means Bernie's electable because her pals aren't. Her pals are these cretins behind
rather than
corners.
Go off into Bernie's virtues or not, which I'm happy to discuss after we get through beating the idea, refute my statement. Not everybody should be allowed to vote in this country. That's my statement.
I think only felons should be allowed to vote. How about that?
Well, felons are getting
felons
the right to vote
in office,
too.
so I think the one thing becomes the other. If
Especially
you're in office,
in
you're a felon.
Yeah, if you're in office, you're probably a psychopath.
I mean, I like to see that change. I mean, everybody, I feel, should have the right to vote. I mean,
that's what they say in civics, and I believe that in my heart. I'm not arguing that.
And that's an American. That's a right that we have.
So what do we vote for? Do we vote for senators and congresspeople? Do we have a republic? Do we do direct democracy and vote on policy?
Let's talk about the whole idea that our votes really do or do not matter. They don't. The only thing they do is add to the sound. You can't tell me you really had 19 Democrats. That's just too many. That's not enough. That's not even remotely enough. We should have 100 of them. And they should be not all Democrats and Republicans. They should
none of them
avowed socialists and the Peanut Party.
I tell you something.
Libertarians, the Greens.
I don't vote on party line.
I don't. Well, I do, but not because it's the party.
Well, I'm a Democrat registered, but I try not to vote party line. I try to vote with the individual who I feel is going to best help not only myself but the majority.
Yeah, and
the
you
majority.
Can do that locally
The majority, which is what you're talking about. Should we let everybody vote, or should there just be a handful of us that make the decisions on the future?
Yeah, but I mean, so when you look at like what this says over the course of history, we're probably toward the end of democracy. I mean, republics
democracy and capitalism, as we thought it was, is almost over.
Yeah, but capitalism has changed things completely. I mean, the Romans didn't have capitalism.
We don't have it either. That's a whole nother.
Well, I mean, we do. We have capitalism. It's just very grossly over. It's become so powerful
it's
and
something else.
Perverted. Yeah. I even had a buddy of mine who's a staunch Trump supporter. Kind of on the ropes rhetorically the other day because I was talking about it's not about socialism or capitalism. It's about if you have so much money, you can not of change the law. That's a problem. And, course, any reasonable person will agree with that. But then you get back into the teams. That's the problem with our party system. And really, if we had some magic wand, you make one chess move and suddenly you're winning the game. We outlaw parties. That's what we should do. No parties.
And get rid of the electoral college.
No, then you can have the electoral college. You just can't be in a party. If you have an idea, good. Start telling people.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And publicly fund campaigns and take away a lot of the ability to advertise.
Just have a mishmash of politicians, no parties, affiliations.
If you have a good idea,
mishmash.
Then start telling people about it. And then when it comes time, you get your 10 grand or whatever it is in public dollars that you can spend. If you get enough troops
together to vote for you,
that's what exactly. You get enough people, with a ground game, and that's what's happening with Trump and Bernie. Those are the two that have a 50-state ground game with people on the ground knocking on doors.
All that stuff is very helpful. It still doesn't change the fact that we shouldn't let stupid people vote. And who determines what's stupid and who doesn't? But see, that's the thing exactly. You immediately like who determines who's stupid? Well, I've offered many times.
Right
people
now,
are not taking me up on it.
What if you think they passed that now? You know, who's that? That's us. We're the stupid
Oh,
people.
the people
we
in
can't
choice
vote.
today would. Oh, well, I'm in Louisiana. I can't claim to have
Yeah,
any
but
intellectual
sitting-
capacity at all.
Now, somebody else might think that, but sitting here in this room, we all know that we're all educated.
I'm not.
Yeah, I think you
I never
are,
let my schooling interfere with my education.
But you know.
I don't know.
Can
No,
you say
I
that?
don't. That's the problem. I
You
think
don't know
none
what-
of us know
but you-
much, and we all operate from a point of view that we know more than we know, and that gives us this
Yeah,
power
but
to.
I don't speak from where I don't know. If I don't know, then I find out or try to find out.
That's good. That's a great impulse
You
to
know,
try to find out.
actually-
If I don't know, I fake it. Why bother to look
Well,
it
you
up?
were telling me
You
that
can-
the other day.
You
You
can
were
lie
telling
your
me
way
that you
through
can
anything.
bullshit.
Yes,
Yeah.
you
You can
don't have to
bullshit.
know shit. You have to act like you do. And that's
Do
a
we have
fact.
to
That's what
censor
your
ourselves
president's
here?
doing.
Do it this
No.
way?
If it goes bad, I'll beep it when I do the inserting the other thing.
No, but
but
you were saying that to me the other day.
Well, it's fact.
You're saying that, you can get up in front of a room and bullshit and make people believe. I mean,
I have done it. I have played the fool. I have played the scholar. I've done all kind of things just to see what I could get away with.
Yeah.
With braggadocio and BS, and I
But
played the
it's
naive
it's
crowd. Don't get
happening
me
right
wrong. I
now.
didn't have a bank full of 4-star generals and bank presidents. I had commoners, regular dirt people like me, and they're easy. And part of this is because of my age and what I look like. I'm just going to tell you straight up. People look at me and this guy knows some stuff. He's in front of the room and he's talking loud. And it works not like a charm at all. If it worked like a charm, I wouldn't be working. I'd be scamming people. But you don't have to know anything unless you're performing surgery or
that is
building a
absolutely-
bridge or something. You don't
That's
have.
absolutely the case with our current fearful leader.
But I think
Not
these
fearless, but
are
fearful.
it's symptoms of where we are now. I don't think that's always true. I don't think that there have always been times where people are this easily fooled. I think that's cyclical too.
Well, I think they're
people
easily fooled now because
uniquely-
they're easier to get information into their heads. It used to be 4 or 5 channels of distribution. Now there's
Yeah.
a million. So it's much easier to get into a person's consciousness now than it used to be.
But it's easier to
And I
come
can
in and
see-
tear it apart. It's easier to break, to come in and rip stuff out. Say, oh look, that thing you thought
that
was
goes
true.
back to
Well,
the lizard brain. Fear is the
Yes.
first primal instinct. Is
And
be
I can
afraid of
see,
something.
I can see what people get confused. Because there's so much feed out there.
Right.
There's so much to feed on. What is true and what is not true? What is right or what is wrong? Well, what do I believe? Do I believe this or do I believe that? This looks pretty good, but this looks like bullshit. But what if this bullshit is the good stuff, and what you're thinking is good is bullshit?
But that's where we need critical thinking tools. There are plenty of logical fallacies that have been shown to lead to incorrect results, and you can learn them. And you can learn to not be misled down the primrose path of ignorance and non-informity.
So why do we have a leader
in this
that
building?
does
We
it?
teach people to be smarter consumers of media. That's one of the things. We have a whole department
Yeah, absolutely.
dedicated to media literacy, and it's naive of us to think unless there is a massive wake up that people are not. They're not believing what they believe because they believe it. They're doing that in defense of the overload of stimuli and
Yes.
fear. There are no rational. I must say, very few people that are involved in this thing we call society are acting rationally. They're acting with their primal brain to be afraid of and jealous of, and to guard their food.
Yes.
And the community, it has no significance at all, like
Right.
it used to.
Yes.
And
So-
we got
so-
to change
so-
that so that we can make people smarter consumers.
And we
which
can.
Is,
We can, because it's an unnatural state. And hey, so are so other many ways that we have figured out how to live. But that
everything.
unnatural state
yeah,
is
everything.
But that unnatural state
Cycle.
specifically is from a need for us to consume blindly and a need for the number on the market to go up. And that is the biggest lie that we've been sold, because it's just such a stupid joke. Oh, let's see how we're growing this year. Let's see how we're growing this year. We're on a finite globe. We can't grow past N.
Right.
And we are approaching N too quickly. And there are ways to press brakes
right.
and to manage the vehicle that we're in as a species.
I don't believe you. I don't think you can. I think we've lost the ability to grab the wheel. The wheel is the steering wheel has come off the steering shaft.
Yes,
Yeah.
but so then that's
feels-
saying that the mass of humanity is at the beck and call of, a fortune, when it's not. It's at the beck and call of sycophants and corruption, and that is changeable. That thing is, we can change that. It's just how that happens. I don't know exactly. I know there are tons of legislative ideas. I know
millions of people are watching this guy sit in a cabinet meeting, talk about how many times to flush the toilet.
You're talking about him. Why talk about him?
Because he's out there.
But
he's out there, and millions of people are watching.
Did you read the study last week that shows that people in the U.S. overwhelmingly, over 60%, find it indistinguishable between talking about politics and talking about Trump? It's the same thing,
completely. And that's
it's
one of the
leading
reasons we're in such trouble.
And we're becoming more anxious and more unhealthy.
That we're not healthy. We're not thinking straight. We're reacting to things that almost by accident he's perpetrated and pushed on us.
And
now they figured some of this out.
He's brilliant.
I think he stumbled into something.
He stumbled into it, but he's
out,
perfect for this role. He is Richard III, man.
He's perfect for this role. And
this hunchback that is just uniquely able to take advantage of this empire that's been sloughed upon him.
Man in the high castle. I can't. The thing is.
Yeah. That reality's starting to look.
Yeah.
Not so bad.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
You know what I'm
glad
talking
the Nazis
about.
lost.
Yeah. What if?
Are you sure they lost?
Yeah, right.
They seem to be playing pretty well right now.
The thing that I have to grab onto every day, because I see this happening. What I have to grab on.
You don't see this happening. You see a TV channel telling you what's happening. That's not what's happening. That's what they want you to be thinking about. That's the story that they want to be playing out in people's heads.
I don't agree
so
because
that
I go to other
So
sources.
that then when the commercial comes on, their guard is so down they might buy my pillow.
I agree with your cynicism, but you have to take it up a notch too. At least the people who are telling us what we are digesting, at least in Bruce's case and somewhat in mine and yours, we at least look for alternative input.
Right.
So everybody's lying to us, but we filter different lies so we can come to get our confirmation bias worked out. We don't just assume it. We work to get to it.
But
that's one of the things I do. I only listen to stuff to anger me so I can confirm my own biases against them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then that is like Trump yesterday saying, look, now I'm talking about him, that they can't win because we have all the materials, literally admitting to obstructing and
I did it.
Not honoring discovery.
Manny boo-boo. What are you going to do about it?
But
I mean, he's admitted to it every day. But
well,
the last couple of
not that
months,
explicitly, but
pretty much.
But my point is that we have to look beyond whatever the thing is that is happening today and realize that we don't know. Even if we've come to these places where we really think we've used calculus to bend our biases toward the truth, we haven't. None of us know. We don't know. And so if we don't know, then we can start to look right at our feet and figure out what are the actions in our lives that we can take to better the immediate environs. How can we help those around us? How can we be activists for kindness?
And I don't want you to think, I don't think that I'm cynical. I think that I have to believe in a sense of hope.
That's why a lot of people believe in. You believe in a sense of hope because it keeps you going. These other people believe in that sense of gloom and doom with the same passion and the same fear. We have to prepare for the end times. It's the only way. And if I don't knock off these old gray-haired guys, my world they will continue pillaging my future. I have to kill old people.
Yeah,
they believe just like you do. They're not using your thought processes, man. You can't figure it out. Just know from the get-go. They believe what they believe.
I think they are because it's all removing your agency from the present by hoping or fearing. What are those two things? They're pissing away your energy and resources into time travel that is impossible, whether in the past or in the future, hoping for something else, fearing what could have been, fearing what's coming, hoping that you will make a better choice than you did before. It's all a waste of your energy that you could be spending in the present mopping or something in your life to get your immediate world in order, to speak truth to power. but hoping is what they want, man. That was the
Well,
the
what are you
biggest
gonna?
con
What do we
of-
do? What, if we give up hope and we're going to sit here and bitch about it
Well, it's
instead
not-
of taking pitchforks to City Hall?
But it's not just.
Well,
Would
maybe
you-
we should start
would you-
sharpening
oh, well,
weapons. Maybe
it's
we
not
should
just
start
sitting there
learning.
and saying I'm hopeful. It's sitting there and saying I'm hopeful and I'm going to do something about it.
Well, what do we do? I'm really intrigued. That's a real sincere question. That's not a debate. I'm looking for a way, a nonviolent way to take action. But basically, I'm willing to block traffic or something. That's not.
I'm looking
violent.
for a violent way to take action where I won't get in trouble at the end. That's what I want to do.
I try to, I have to work at it. I
Incite?
try to ascribe to the whole not violent attitude, but
I want to be.
I definitely don't. I just don't want
I've always
to-
want to be a part of the change. I'm from. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ed, but you and I are basically from the same generation, correct?
probably older than you, but yeah, we're older than Skippy over there, little kid.
Yeah, little boy. No, but the generation. Okay, basically, I came to age in the '60s. Okay.
The 1660s. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
The good times.
The
We had
18
all the best music.
the
yada, yada, yada.
1860s.
Yeah,
You
The
can
eight-
say "Okay, Boomer."
When
if
John
you want.
Dowland was at his
This
peak.
is an "Okay, Boomer"
The
moment. if you will.
1860s,
Exactly.
the age of enlightenment. In the 1960s, came of age, and that was there was a tremendous among everybody that I came in contact with. There was this tremendous feeling of, we can make changes.
Yes.
We can absolutely make changes, and there were some changes made in that time
No
frame.
kidding, man. That was there was a mini revolution.
And that was when
And
King
we
was
also saw
doing his thing.
multiple leaders assassinated.
I know, but King was doing his thing. Kennedy, if he had not been assassinated, could have made some tremendous changes and strides. I mean, things were really happening in the 60s.
Did y'all see the Scorsese extended tapes of Woodstock? There's all this footage now, man.
Yeah.
Dude, that's what made me realize what we lost.
I was almost there.
Because you see these people, man, and every single person at Woodstock was cooler than the coolest hipster you've ever seen
I never tell
walking
you, I
around.
was at Woodstock.
You were not.
Yeah, it was.
You
What?
were?
Right before Vietnam.
Come on.
Oh yeah, if you watch in the movie,
You're not in that.
You
You're
can-
not
well,
in that. Oh, my God.
I can show you where I was.
That's
See what I
pretty
mean about
cool.
lying? You
Were you
stupid
on the
fools
hill?
bought that shit hook,
You
line, and
were on
sinker.
the hill?
No, I wasn't there. I was making that up, and you sat there and go, "Hey man, he was at Woodstock."
I
believe
immediately
it.
bought
and
it.
you bought it too.
Wow.
So that's proof right off the bat.
That's
You just act like
messed
you're
up.
Because you
talking.
were sincere.
Huh?
You were sincere.
I sound sincere. I was not sincere at all. I was lying to you, and I was just proving what I
Exactly,
said.
yeah.
I was
earlier.
there too.
You seem
Yeah,
sincere.
it's too late
No,
now, Bruce. It's too
Yeah.
late now. You
That-
played
that's
second
good.
fiddle to
I
this
was
guy.
almost there.
That reminds me of the. I think I told you to watch it, and you probably haven't yet, so I'll just give it away. But the recent stand-up special of. Oh gosh, now I'm going to completely blank on the guy's name. Indian comic who was Aziz Ansari.
Yo, he's funny as all get out.
Okay, and so he has this bit like two-thirds of the way through, where he's talking about some of these news items, and one of them is, did you see the thing where this Jewish family or black family or someone was delivered a pizza from, I won't say which chain, but he did name a specific pizza chain, and there was a swastika of pepperoni on the pizza, in there, this unspoken threat. And a few people raise their hand, and then he singles one of them out, and he starts talking, tell me about it, just a little bit. And they start talking about it, and he says, that never happened. Mm-hmm. Why do you feel the need?
But people were bearing witness to what
Yes,
they
to
did. Yeah.
having seen it, to having been outraged by it.
Because
Just more
as
proof.
a
Yeah.
stand-up, you're in control, right? So as a stand-up,
Yeah.
everybody is listening to you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
so
making my point.
It's just like me as an actor. Everybody is focusing on me when I'm talking, right? When I'm staging
Ideally.
in front of them.
You're making
Ideally,
my point.
they're focusing on and believing what I'm saying and believing what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a stand-up has a private audience. I mean, they're
Yeah.
listening to everything and hanging on every word he or she says.
Yeah, but what do they? That's the thing.
so
is,
they can say anything.
what do they get by agreeing? By saying it kind of reminds me of a lot of times when I'll say I'll be there. I don't do this anymore.
Well, it's an empowerment.
knock on wood.
It's an empowerment. It's like, okay, I'm with this comic. Yeah, I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
but
I
see, it's
feel
that
you, I feel
in-group
you.
thing. They want to be a part of the in-group.
Right, and but isn't that human nature to feel like you?
Well, but
you
it's
wanna
bad
be
human
accepted?
nature.
Yeah, I agree.
It's easily
But it's human nature to
subvertible.
want to feel that you're accepted.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens in high school. It happens
Marketing
in
101.
middle school.
Yes, Bernays, man.
Yeah.
Make them
That's-
We
feel
all
like
went
they
through
want
it,
to.
right? We all went through it. Were we part of a clique?
Yeah.
We're
Still
part
go
of a
through
group?
it. I'm trying to be part of the outcast.
Yeah.
I want to be part of the gang. that's
Now
not
I
in
don't
the
want to
gang.
be.
I don't like the people who hang out by the dumpster anymore. They used to be the
Yeah.
cool guys.
There's no more picking up butts at the dumpster, man. These are just little,
There's no cigarette butts out there.
I just want to be me. I just want to be me. But you know, and every morning I wake up, I'm me. I do my thing, and hopefully, whatever I can do can make some sort of change.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I really want to be able to be a part of that change.
okay, I'm going to jump in here and say I completely understand that, and the young guy over here's thinking these old fools think they can change the world. I still think,
I think I
if
can change it
if
a
I
little.
die today, or if I get that hangnail and y'all have to kill me, which is my other request.
You got that in your living will.
I am
hangnail.
completely unfulfilled in respect to what I think I have time left to do. Something needs to happen, and I want to be involved in making it happen. I feel like I'm talking like a 16-year-old kid. Hey, I'm going to work in my own. I'm going to own my own drugstore. Well, that's hard to believe, kid, because you don't. Our drugstores are owned by chains now. You're out of luck. But that's how I feel like I'm stumped. And just like Bruce said it, I can't give up. I believe there's still time. There's gas in the tank.
Yeah.
Maybe I should use the gas in my tank to set the building on fire.
That would be
down.
something. You'd leave the world different. Yeah, I have been feeling that specifically, especially in 2022.
You're
like,
young enough to believe it because of your youth. You still have.
But, I mean,
that's
but we
part of
need
your-
that energy.
That's part of your growth curve. We're out of touch with our growth curve. We should be surrendering and giving up.
well, that's not true.
But
Okay,
it's not.
Just as far as the mortality rate goes, I mean, you know, when I saw this fun tidbit the other day, when Social Security was first implemented and 65 was the age that, you know, you could finally collect. You know what the average life expectancy was?
70 or
61.
61.
Yeah, way
okay.
before you could collect. Nah, man, I mean, the life expectancy is rising unless you're actually like my age and drinking and doing too much drugs. I mean, that's the white males are croaking early because, especially demographically. But no, man, we can still change the world. And I think the point is that we never lose that spark. You know, the world, of course, as we see in Puerto Rico, as we see in the Philippines, the world is changing. Geologically, the world is, you know, it's going to be different. But while we're here and while humans last, we can help to change the new sphere, you know, the sphere of thought that exists. And I think the way to do that, Ed, you know, we're in the right place for that, is to make media that people see, that maybe they let their guard down, and maybe
That's the purpose of things like AOC.
Yes.
You can create some media and you can make noise, and that's why you need a vote. It's part of the noise. And
Yeah,
and
but
part
you-
of the noise.
this-
Yeah.
You
people
have to
like
make sure that
this-
accessibility is there for everyone.
People have to listen.
That's
for
why
sure.
what I would love to see in a Bernie presidency is for him to say, okay, you know that rule we had back in the day with the franchise fees for
Right.
cable providers? Well, now it's your internet. And anybody that pays internet, you're paying 0.1%. 10 cents on the $100 is
At
going
the-
into a
at the
federally
most,
administered
yeah.
fund, and every rural area gets a place like this, upgraded, good funding.
or National Public Radio or radio.
That too. I mean, there's all sorts of initiatives that we could do that
Right.
the industry wouldn't notice, that people would, that could change lives.
You could change the world.
But
There's
what's
no
great
question
about
that.
about NPR is that it really, their program is called All Things Considered for a reason, and they really do. No, seriously.
I know. I mean, I love NPR, but I don't have any illusions that it is better than the TV media for sure.
Right, but
It's
they
still
really-
they
beholden.
really do-
It's still beholden to corporate interests. It still slants. It still wants for capitalism to continue as it does, and for the Democrats and Republicans to continue boxing in the arena that they, you know, get a seat in.
They've done a lot of stories on voting. Getting back to,
I want to see some voting technology increase, new technology adopted.
Interesting
You know,
you would bring it back to voting, which goes back to the bogusness of the whole concept that with this digital voting thing is not hackable and so forth and so on.
Yeah,
Another
man.
reason why you got to have a real leap of faith to believe your vote matters.
we need paper ballots for one, and we
At
need
least.
different ballots. I think we
Yeah.
need weighted voting, or approval voting. That's a really cool one where
How
the
about
one that
IQ
the
test,
most
man?
people
That's how I started this. Dumb people
Well,
shouldn't be allowed to vote.
Yeah, but what's an IQ? I mean, the thing is, someone who is very quick-witted could get a very bad result on an IQ test because they're in a bad place in their life or in their family or in their
Well,
matriculation.
speaking from someone who has worked at the polls as a poll,
I didn't know you dance.
But
yeah, but yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
some things are too easy.
Hey, you got to make a living. Yeah, no, I've worked the polling places.
Yes, that's cool. Poll watcher or
No. As a poll employee, as a commissioner in charge or a commissioner. Commissioner in charge runs the polling place, and the commissioners are the ones jotting the names down in the book and running the machines.
Mm-hmm.
So the machines that we currently have in Lafayette Parish are really very good.
Yeah, but they're not. No, the
The-
Diebold
the-
machines in Louisiana
the-
are proven hackable, very quickly hackable.
None of them, zero of them are reliable and unhackable.
In Louisiana, there are some paper ballots in the state,
Paper
in the
ballots.
country.
I'm talking about unhackable digital. That is the same as saying military intelligence jumbo. It's an oxymoron. Digital unhackable is the same thing as me in the NBA. It's not going to happen. It never did.
You mean
It's
when you say-
bogus.
When you say paper, you mean sitting at a table with an enclosure around you,
No.
ballot marking out like an answer sheet
No,
for a test?
no, you can have a machine that is both. Some states do it where it's recording it digitally, but it's
Scans you
also
and gives you a
making a
receipt,
physical
a paper
mark
receipt,
or
and-
puncture on a paper.
It goes into a bucket.
Yeah,
to
so
back
that
up-
then if you
so-
audit the election, you can find out who
that's
everyone
used for
voted
audit, not for counting.
Exactly.
So it's a slightly
So
different.
who individual voters voted for, or the total
Each
count?
Each vote would have a paper trail.
I see.
That's what needs to happen.
Okay, so what
That-
it is now is at the end of the night, the machines print out the total votes. Okay.
Oh yeah,
And
I don't know.
like three. Yeah.
In
well,
the
I
Diebold
know.
ones in Louisiana, you mean?
The ones that I've worked with.
Okay.
They print out. They have a computer in the back, right? A printer in the back, and a
You
computer.
have a guy standing by the computer with a gun.
Well, it's not a computer actually. It's a
calculator.
data collector.
Uh-huh.
Okay, collecting all the information from the push buttons that have been going on, all the voting that's gone on all day. And then at the end of the night, once the polls are closed, there are 3 separate copies that are sent. And now I know you're smiling.
No, I'm really just bored. I'm just like looking at the thing because I want the people to see that I'm having fun.
Okay. Now I know you. I
He
know
turns
you
his shitty
think.
and grins
Yeah.
at the camera. Hey,
No.
y'all. I'm having a good time. I'm trapped with these old guys that think they know
Yeah,
shit.
but I know you think well that's still hackable and that's still not going to work, and maybe you're right. But
I'm not saying they're necessarily getting hacked. I'm saying they can.
Yes.
Okay.
They so
Yeah.
can. It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can trust me. I've never done this before, and it's digital, but nobody's going to see it. And no, I don't buy that. I'm not going to buy that.
Yeah.
We can't have an intelligent conversation if you think anything digital is really, really safe.
Well, and
Has
so
not been hacked, yes. Likely to be hacked, maybe not. But
Yes.
safe, no. Not happening.
yeah, exactly. And so that's one of the issues. That's a very important issue. But a completely separate issue is the idea that we implement new voting technology, not beep boop beep, but approval voting. Who's the person who the most people said they wouldn't mind being the leader? That's one way.
So instead
weighted
of
voting.
a ballot with candidates, you have just a question.
No, you have a ballot with candidates, and you get to put, which one do you want the most? No. You have a ballot with all the candidates, and you just fill in the ones that you wouldn't mind. Say there's 8 people running, and there's 2 you don't mind. I'll vote. She's okay, and he's not.
There are a lot of
But you
voting mechanisms that would work way better than what we have now.
And they're implementing
it
them
wouldn't-
in
and they-
Maine, in Minnesota. There are
Yeah,
places
and they
where they're
wouldn't-
doing
they
this.
Everybody would have a voice. Everybody could get heard. You wouldn't lose your power. You would just have a more obvious path to picking the overall best person.
Or the least hated person.
Yeah.
So
instead
now the
of this
presidential-
bloodbath of whatever the hell we have.
So
now.
current-
Another way is approval voting. Just real quick. Okay, so that's approval voting. Another way is weighted voting, where you get to rank. I'm going to say, okay, this is my first choice. Bernie's my first choice, but if Bernie doesn't make it, I guess I could go for, I don't even want to say it, but Warren.
You have
You
to.
know.
If you go for Bernie, you got to go for Warren. What are you going
Yeah.
to go for somebody else?
Well,
Those two are birds of a feather.
I just kind of picked Bernie twice.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, so then you wait it. So then you can go back and look at everybody's first choice and everybody's second choice and use a little bit of math and say, well, this is the person who the most people, were okay with. There are different ways that we could alter the way we vote to make it a little more democratic.
And I understand what you're saying, but then you look at the debacle of the Bush-Gore
Yeah.
campaign in Florida.
fraud.
Yeah.
564 votes
A fraud.
separated. 564 votes.
That's the thing I want to change. Yeah, totally. That was crazy. I mean, it wasn't
mean,
even 554. It was one. It was one Supreme Court vote.
That's
Well,
true.
yeah, that too.
That's true. That's what
Another
it
of
came
the
down
many
to.
frauds that we sat through while our country got turned into whatever the hell this thing we call democracy is, because it's not.
I just watched. Have you seen Vice?
But it's not a republic either. It's something else. It's an
Now, let's
oligarchy.
talk about this
It's-
impending this impeachment that they're not even trying to fake a real trial. I would feel better if they would say to me, "Yes, we're going to have a real trial. Bring in a couple of dummies to act like." But then I don't even want to hear this. I don't want to hear it. I've made up my mind already, and I'm going to run this trial in conjunction with the accused. Get over it. And we're all going,
Yeah, I mean, just where they say it was McConnell. McConnell's meeting with Trump's defense. Wait, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
What?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
said straight up, I'm going to meet with him. I'm going to run this trial to suit him.
Yeah.
And the commentators are saying today that if they want to have witnesses, it'll be because Trump tells McConnell he has to do it, because McConnell
Right.
doesn't want to, and they're leaving it up to Trump.
Yeah, that's what
And this
shows
is-
you. It's videocracy, man. It's just what is
Yeah,
what's going to get the
idiocracy.
most people glued? Videocracy. What's going to get the most people glued to watching this stupid
what
spectacle?
is
Adam
their-
Schiff's going to sound
are
real
they
smart,
s-
and nobody on the other side will listen.
He is smart.
And
Are
then,
they playing
yeah,
such
he
a
is.
short-term game that they are throwing everything in, hoping he'll be reelected and they'll be protected, as opposed to throwing him out and knowing they will lose their ass?
I think they're counting
their-
on.
Yeah,
I think they're counting
there's a
on
lot
the-
of fear. There's a lot of fear because this guy has been providing their wealth and
Who? Which
their
guy?
status.
Trump.
But
I'm not gonna say his
really,
name.
No, come on. He has, but he's been providing who wealth?
Republicans. He's
His-
feeding-
He's been providing
his
them
cronies.
campaign donations.
Yeah, so-
Yeah.
No,
Hello.
I'm
Yeah.
talking
That's the whole-
about.
Okay, I
Yeah,
guess you're
yeah,
right.
yeah.
I'm talking about what he's been able to do in
He's
the
good
time
for
frame.
Republican business.
But he's good for Democratic business. He's been providing them. They've been having
he
the
gives us a
same
lot of
point you just
talking
made
points.
is true. They have been having banner year after banner year for 5 years now because of Trump. People are so afraid of Trump, they're donating to whatever
Well,
Democratic
this is my
causes.
prediction. We'll switch into the other
And then
topic.
the ad revenue.
my,
That's where the real
I can
money
see
is.
that.
This is the super important thing, is remember that money buys your election. That's why Bloomberg is even registering. He has no business being in the race other than he has money. Tom
Right.
Steyer, another body. These people, welcome to him, might even vote for one, not saying anything negative other than they're only there because of their money. A poor person
Yeah.
with twice the brains and intellect and know-how and experience wouldn't have a prayer. Your vote doesn't matter in that regard. You got to voice your vote so you make noise. It's not enough noise, but it's like Horton Hears a Who. The last little voice is the one that tips the scale, and you
Right.
might be that one. Even in Louisiana, you have no choice whatsoever of a blue person being elected to anything, even if there's no red candidates. There'll be a right. So your vote is not going to change the election. But
Well,
you got to make noise so they
But
know
your
you're
voice,
here.
your voice could affect the outcome, and that brings us back to that solution.
why you
I mean,
have
I
to
think
make noise.
one of the most consequential solutions would be to have some democratization of media wealth, so that anybody can access the tools to create good-looking media. Well, okay, maybe they can't because they're not good at. They don't have a good eye. But anybody can access the tools to make media to get their point out. And I mean, that would be the thing.
So
That
far.
would be
Then
one-
it's
that's
just
the reason we're
who's
in
got a
that's
good
the
point.
reason we're in the building we're in. The
Yeah.
government back in those days was willing to make sure people had a voice in
Virtual
and
soapbox.
virtual
Yeah.
soapbox, and that's the whole idea. And we're so beyond that now.
I think we're coming back around to it,
I
man. We
think
just
might.
gotta.
There's your hope.
That dude I keep
See,
talking
you're
about,
hopeful.
the other guy, the
You're
anti-Trump.
hopeful. See, I just heard hope come from your lips.
Oh,
You're
did I
hopeful.
say I'm hopeful? Well,
Yeah,
whatever.
no, you
God dang
didn't.
it.
You didn't use the exact word, but your enthusiasm
Well,
was there.
a foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds, to quote,
See that?
because
There
I
you
don't
go.
know.
The hobgoblin.
Yeah.
Okay, let's switch this conversation to the other important issue of the day. This place called Buc-ee's, which I want to talk about this Buc-ee's thing because Bruce is over here looking at me. Your name is the Shadow. Anyway, I didn't mean to out you, Bruce.
No.
The Shadow over here looks at me like what's the show? What's the Buc-ee's, man?
Have you know?
No,
you don't
I-
know?
I-
I've never
I
been.
don't know.
Ed tells me
Jacob has
about
never
it.
been there, and it fascinates me because it's such a phenomena of retailing and capturing a market and moving the merch. They're how they get their inventory balanced so they can turn the stuff they turn is mind-boggling. I mean, you can go in there and buy a fresh turducken, fried catfish, a handmade sandwich, a barbecue pit for $1,000, 10 cords of wood, 100 gallons of gas.
So what do you go there for? What
go
does the
there-
person go there for?
Mostly,
the barbecue
well,
pit?
Well, that's why nobody's going to go there to buy $1,000 barbecue pit, but they sell them. I don't get that. People go there because the gas is cheaper, roughly a dime cheaper than competing gas stations.
Oh,
They have
wow.
80 something pumps out front, man. I mean, like 80. It's 100 and 200 yards of pumps lined up down the row, and they're all full of people getting their gas. But they have the big gulp drinks instead of $1.59. They're like 75
Yeah, I've seen
cents.
Yeah.
And
There's
they make
Buc-ee's.
deli sandwiches, fresh food,
Yeah, that guy.
prepared food. They have all kind of Buc-ee's merchandise. They have a row.
Is there like a beaver habitat?
They probably could be. They
like-
got everything else.
It's
but
like a larger version of Stuckey's.
that's not the wrong comparison because you're an old man and Stuckey's used to be a big deal. I get that.
There's still a
in fact,
Stuckey's. There's
I was
one
telling
between-
the story in my head of the Buc-ee's is the modern day Stuckey's. You're absolutely correct, but there's no comparison. Stuckey's, they had this thing called a pecan log. It was like
They still do.
some putty with pecan stuck on it.
They
You
still
paid
do.
nothing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
there's
you go
one- there's
to you go to
one on the
Buc-ee's.
way to Houston.
They've got a rack from here to way over there. It's 25 feet of rack, floor to ceiling of nothing but choices of popcorn, kind of popcorn. Then you take a left, there's nothing but beef jerky.
And they have soft pretzels
five
too, huh?
Pretzels, every kind of pretzel you can imagine, every kind of mustard to put on every kind of.
So
It's
they-
just
for that.
mind-boggling. They have checkout cashiers. You never have to wait in line. There's cashiers all over the place to get you in and out of there.
So they're in southern Alabama and Florida
They're only in Alabama now, moving to Florida, yeah, and they're
and Texas.
But when you
But
see
they're
them
not
come-
in-
you
why
see
aren't
them
they
coming
in
over the
Louisiana?
horizon. It's like there's a glow coming off this thing. Whoa,
Yeah.
you're coming
Why
into
wouldn't they
Buc-ee's
be
zone.
in Louisiana?
We don't have the pop for it.
Keep looking. There's an article that says we thought about Louisiana, but we decided Alabama was better.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever been insulted? Has anybody ever insulted you? We looked at Louisiana, but Alabama's better.
Yeah.
Now, there's an article written about it too. Like
We
how-
have been
how,
we have been
robbery-
two-stepping with that state around the bottom of
They've
most
had
lists
lawsuits.
for a while.
In recent years, the company is rapidly growing. They filed numerous lawsuits against other convenience store chains.
I don't like that idea.
Intellectual property.
That changes my attitude a little bit. I did
They're
Mostly
probably
based
saying-
in
Just like they
Texas
did about
for
Fortune
trademark
size,
and
but-
trade dress infringement.
What's trade dress?
Cost
Your
Oh, they
logo
have
looks
a
like
Buc-ee's.
theirs or something. Oh. Yeah, you can't have a beaver, at least a four-legged mammal beaver on your
Yeah,
photo.
so
Wow.
in 2014, they filed a lawsuit against Texas-based convenience store chain Frio Beaver. Frio Beaver, a company with a logo also depicting a beaver in a yellow circle with a black outline, was accused of copying the iconic Buc-ee's, B-U-C-E-E, Beaver's head logo, which the company is widely known for in
Bomb
Texas.
diggity, man.
Interesting.
That's almost enough about Buc-ee's because if you haven't been there, you wouldn't understand it. If you have been there, you're probably going, "Yo, what a place, man!" I mean, it's just astounding to me, the inventory mix and the volume they churn to keep it going, and just like 50 of them now. They guys, it's
Wow.
amazing. It's to me, it's a whole new way of getting the merchandise in front of people. The product mix is just that bizarre.
Well, I mean, it sounds kind of like they've tried to marry a convenience store and a supermarket, or more like
Yeah. You can't get a can of Campbell's soup, but you can get 5 kinds of homemade soup from the commissary.
Yeah.
And they're only on major thoroughfares.
That's
right?
the only one. I've only know of 2
interstates.
of them, and they're on interstates.
Yeah, if you're going to have 80 pumps, you want to be where people drive.
80 pumps,
Yeah.
and you have to wait. There's not like free pumps everywhere.
But think
Do they
about
have
how many.
self-service? No.
Oh yeah, it's all self-service. You put
Oh,
it in
I
your-
meant,
yeah.
but they don't have any like attendants. Where
I
you
don't
can-
know. They could.
But in the store, think about how many employees they have.
Oh,
in that
sure. No,
store.
but I specifically mean like because there's like one spot still in in Lafayette that I know of where you can roll up and
Yeah, Mel's
have them
down
fill
there
up
next
the
door to
car.
Mel's will do that.
Yeah.
But lastly, in the thing, and this is all part of marketing, the thing that makes Buc-ee's the real go-to place, and they've been super consistent about it, is that their bathrooms, because it's all on highways,
That's what
are
it says,
freaking
yeah.
spectacular. Big, roomy, clean, fresh, and they advertise world-famous bathrooms.
Wow.
And they do that, and when you're traveling and somebody's bathroom is better than somebody else's, plus they have a freaking
Yeah.
Yeah, right
gigantic
here.
array of food. Yeah.
Right here. The new
You're gonna-
Braunfels,
yeah,
Texas store was named 2012's best restroom in America.
without question.
I want to be the guy that gets to
I
decide
have
that.
pooped there. I have been there.
Yes.
But for the last example, I buy hearing aid batteries there that are $5 a pack cheaper.
Are you
than they
kidding
at
me,
Albertsons.
dude? They
Oh,
have
they're
hearing
new.
aid batteries.
Oh yeah, and they're cheaper by $5 a pack. I'll buy a big pack.
They're
$5
new
a pack.
too.
Yeah,
I didn't
oh, yeah.
realize they opened in 2015.
What, the first
The
one?
first Buc-ee's in the Dallas-Fort Worth metropolitan.
in Dallas.
Oh, that's the first one in
Yeah.
Dallas.
Oh, in
yeah, there was
Dallas.
another one somewhere else. Yeah,
They had to be older than that.
Interesting.
they've been there around. The guy started in a little filling station or something. That
Well,
kind of story.
Tune
But
in next week when we figure out what our triple billion-dollar
You
idea
realize
is going
though,
to
that
be.
today we had we had a topic and we had conversation. That's
Yeah,
the
we
first time ever.
stayed very near the topic.
Yeah. We only started with 2. We ended on 2. How
Ma-
long have we been doing this?
Maybe
Is it
Bruce
over
is.
yet?
There's no way to tell on this one.
Is it over
As
yet?
long as it is recording, it looks like it's still recording. Yeah, maybe Bruce is our good luck charm, or our mediocre luck charm. That's still better than our usual luck.
Yeah, our
So-
mediocre.
Well,
We're going to put this program on this free.
All right.
Look at this. See, it was given to me by my friends over there.
CGI.
They help us
Give
out
me
here.
some free tech
They are
advice.
friends of AOC over at CGI. We like them.
Yeah, we both have 3 letters in our
We're
name.
going to put
okay.
we're going to put the program on here, Mr. Shadow. I didn't mean to out you, but thanks for being
No,
here. Anything
no,
you want to
I-
say to defend yourself or to reconcile whatever we've confused?
I'm in defense of myself.
In defense of myself. I hope you didn't feel attacked, but wait till next week.
No, never.
Yeah,
never.
I
Wait
attack
till next
everyone who's
No.
in front of me.
Jacob
No,
is
I
so
was-
full
I-
of this. He's both a realist, and his idealistic world is so far fetched. That, I mean, it
No,
would be
I was,
perfect. I mean, he has he sees people with literal wings on them and stuff, and he
Right.
thinks that we can attain that.
Right.
So he argues for like a pure, you don't have to work. There's plenty of food, and those things are great. But at the end of the day, you got to kill people to eat. That's the only way.
Yeah.
To get ahead. If
Yes.
you don't kill people to eat, you're not American. Somebody's got to die for you to eat. That's how the world is.
I don't know. But every things have to die for us to live. That's the truth. So I think if we
It's a
were
cycle.
more
Milk
aware
Milk and
of
honey, bro.
It's a cycle.
let's talk about that next week.
Milk and
The
honey.
cycle of life.
Yeah,
The circle
Yeah.
of life.
the something of life.
All right.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
I'm going to go to the store instead of killing my own food. Nobody dies when you buy a chicken at the store.
that's true. Yeah,
That's one of those things. Okay, Bruce, thanks for being here, man.
Well, thank you guys.
thank y'all.
Just been tune in next week and show up next week if you want to be on the show.
Oh yeah,
Will
email
do.
me if you are angry with me. jwhite@aocinc.org. Thanks for watching.
Mr. Listener, we appreciate you, bro.
Bye,
Yes.
y'all.
I guess I could have introduced him, but since people are watching at home, Shahid's on my left, like you get the who, watching the field from left to right.
Me and Eric facing one another.
If it was me.